Greetings, Barcadians, and welcome to another episode of Gaming News Weekly. So, as ever, your hosts, me, Tabs, my good friend, and channel pal, Rich. Say hello, Rich.
Hello, how are we all doing?
Hope you're well, Barcadians. You know the score if you've been here before. Oh, and I didn't know it. But if this is your first time with Gaming News Weekly, what we tend to do, we talk about what we've mostly been playing in the week just gone. Then we jump into the main news stories, usually 3 that we found happening that week in the games industry. And then we rattle off a few quickfire headlines that we couldn't feature in the main. And then we wrap it up and we say, we'll see you next week at 5 p.m. Friday UK time. Does that make sense, mate? I said that the wrong way around, didn't I? Friday, 5 p.m. UK time.
Nice.
So if you haven't already, please hit that like button. Really helps to support the channel. And yes, let's commence it, Rich. Do you want to tell us what we've mostly been playing this week? It can be done in a one, can't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it seems like there's going to be a theme for the next, 6 months of playing Elden Ring together each week. So there's some more of that pushing on. We've got to a place called... Is this a spoiler to say where we've got to, Tabs? I'd say miles.
I think you can say the name. I don't think there's any
so we've got to a place called Volcano Manor. That's right, isn't it, Tabs? Volcano Manor? I'm sure that's right.
Yeah. Bit of a spoiler on what sort of biome it might be like, but I think we're fine, mate.
Which is cool. It's really good. It's so compelling to play. I love playing it. It's a game that is difficult and super challenging, but there's something that makes you want to play it and push through the difficulty. And I think that's really a real credit to the makers of Elden Ring that they've managed to do that within an open world. It is very special, and I'm very much enjoying playing it, and especially playing it with you, Tabs.
It, mate. What, we're about level 120 now, I think?
I think you are. I'm still just below 100.
Sorry, Barcadians. I just wanted to capture that reaction from Rich, because, we try and maintain level parity as much as possible. But Rich always suspects that I'm a million levels ahead of him. I'll enjoy watching that one back, mate. But no, I think we've put in a lot of hours at this point. Like, we've played far beyond most games, you would say.
Yeah, I think we're like 55-ish. I think that's where we're up to, ish hours.
Which is a good amount of time to put into a game. And I'm not really feeling any sort of fatigue as such, or that I'm spent. And certainly I think it's a good thing, because it still feels like there's going to be, there's more places to explore, there's more discoveries. And like you say, really enjoying it.
I think we're way off completing it. I mean, I don't feel like we've moved the story. I mean, we've done lots of story beats, but I don't feel like the story's really moved on that much. So it wouldn't surprise me if there's still 50, 60, 70 hours worth of play for us, which is crazy.
It is nuts. Good value for money.
Absolutely.
But mate, let's move on to the news this week. And story number 1, really close to my heart.
Absolutely.
Return to Monkey Island. So I trying to get this in shot, Barcadians. It's like a poster, but some reflection issues. Never mind. We're only amateurs. But this is what Eurogamer had to say, and then we'll come to my excitement and thoughts about it. So, the legendary LucasArts adventure series, Monkey Island, will return later this year with an all-new game appropriately entitled Return to Monkey Island, headed up by original series creator Ron Gilbert. Return to Monkey Island is being developed by Gilbert's Terrible Toy Box studio in collaboration with Devolver Digital and Lucasfilm Games. The legendary studio label resurrected by Disney in early 2021. The announcement trailer doesn't reveal anything about the story or why Ron Gilbert agreed to make another Monkey Island game after all these years, although there's a little joke in the trailer about that. But the game will follow on Monkey Island 2, LeChuck's Revenge, and so apparently be unrelated to Telltale's 2009 Tales of Monkey Island, the last game in the series. Gilbert revealed separately that he's actually been working on Return to Monkey Island for the past 2 years in complete secrecy.
Wow.
So it's just lovely seeing this little trailer, more or less a teaser. And I actually really enjoyed there's like a new graphical style. I know there'll be purists out there that will be saddened to see this kind of pixelated sort of look has gone. But I think they need to bring things up to date sometimes for modern audiences. So I think that's a big thing. We want this to appeal to not just the fans of yesteryear, myself, the old ones, but also new gamers, younger gamers. So it finds that new audience. As we know anyway, Rich, I think from experience, adventure games, point and click adventure games probably don't have mass appeal, mass market appeal.
Yeah, agreed.
So, I want it to have every chance it can to succeed. And personally, I really like the new art style. But I suppose if I was going to try and explain it to somebody who doesn't have a clue what Monkey Island is about, I was thinking about it. I know. It's a really funny game. And what I would try and... I'm guessing a lot of people, especially new to games, have probably played Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now, that probably seems like a really strange comparison to you, mate, but...
Obscure ass.
What I was taking from that, the characters in Breath of the Wild and how they've got this kind of like whimsical, goofy, these really colourful characters as well. There's some sort of basis for me in Monkey Island. That's when I first played it. They've got such a cast of characters, and there's like comedy in nearly every line of text or audio in the later remasters, and it's just such a whimsical adventure with really really lovely design, at least in the first two, because this is like a successor to the first two. There was of course Curse of Monkey Island, which I really like still, but I don't think, I'm not sure if Ron Gilbert was as involved in that one, and therefore perhaps that's why he's returning to, we break straight after LeChuck's Revenge, the second Monkey Island. What
was the one we played together, Tabs, on I think your dad's PC? Which one was that?
It would have been one or two.
Yeah.
No. Was it the cartoony looking one?
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
That's probably Curse of then.
Yeah, I really like that one. It's funny.
Yeah, no, it's a great entry, and I suppose it was just quite a break from the first two. But yeah, I really liked it. I loved the way the puzzles worked, and like you say, that the dialogue is never-endingly funny and surprising and enjoyable. So anyway, mate, I shan't ramble on much longer, but suffice to say, it was brilliant for me personally, and I know a lot of fans of the series, to see this. I think it's scheduled to be released this year, but who knows if it will get moved. Obviously, they've been working on it in secrecy for the last 2 years, so it must be fairly far along. I think... Go on.
No, you finish off, dude.
I was just going to say, friend of the channel, Bob, I think he's hoping it will come to the Switch.
Yeah.
And I think it's got every chance of appearing on the Switch. So.
I think that's the one thing about this trailer. It was great to see this trailer. Really excited for this. I really like the graphic style. I really like this style of graphics, so I'm excited for that. I really enjoyed Curse of Monkey Island. That's the one that I really enjoyed playing, and the funny things, there's props that you have to do various things with, and there's insult sword fighting. So many cool things that you will only experience on these games. So I'm really excited to see what they could do. The only thing I will say is about this, while it is a teaser and I didn't expect it to be a lot, it doesn't tell us what platform it's going to be on. Is it going to be multi-platform, singular platform? Is it going to be on every device you could possibly imagine? It left a lot of questions, but I guess maybe that's what a good teaser does. It leaves you wanting more, so I sort of get that. But I think they would have been good if they'd have, even if it was just at the bottom, had a range of logos to show which platforms it was going to be on. That would have been great for people who are excited about it. They can be like, oh, am I going to be able to get it? Have I got that console or whatever, PC? So really excited for this. We'll have to see. Like you said, I think it is stated for this year, but I don't know.
Would you buy it, mate?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I mean, Lou, the missus, was really excited as well, because I think she really enjoyed Monkey Island when back in the day. So she was equally really excited when I showed her this. So I think that would definitely be a purchase.
It's got such good music in it as well, and just hearing that little riff on the violin in the trailer, it brings so many nostalgic feels back. But let's stay tuned for more on that one. But mate, story number 2, bit of a sad one. Pinch of sadness.
Absolutely. So E3 2022 DOA. and The Verge had this to say: "There will be no E3 this year." In a tweet, Will Powers, PR for gaming peripheral magazine Razer, said he had received an email stating the digital event was cancelled. IGN initially reported the news, saying they had also independently viewed the email confirming E3's cancellation. The video games trade show and marketing event was originally scheduled to be held in person this year. However, in January, E3 was once again shifted from an in-person event to an online-only exhibition due to the pandemic. Now it seems that the digital event has been completely cancelled. There has been growing concern about the fate of E3 for the last few years. The COVID-19 pandemic continues to impact in-person gatherings, making the prospect of a very large and famously packed event unattractive. Last week, a number of video games industry professionals reported testing positive for COVID-19 after attending the Games Developer Conference in San Francisco. In addition to pandemic concerns, video game publishers have increasingly withdrawn from E3 in favour of hosting their own online events like Disney, Nintendo's Direct Showcase, EA Play Live, and Sony's State of Play. It's an interesting one. So anyone who has been with the channel for a long time will know that before the pandemic, leading into 2020, there was rumblings that me and Tabs might make a pilgrimage to the sort of home of all things gaming and get to E3. Obviously the pandemic hit and that was kiboshed. We thought maybe the next year. And I think after it was a digital event like last year and it was a bit flat, I think me and Tabs have both sort of said that we thought maybe this was sort of nails in coffins in terms of E3. However, I thought with the fact that they had announced there would be a digital event back in January that we would see another event similar to last year. Maybe that would then be the final E3 that we would see. But yeah, it looks like that's it. E3 is done. And for basically in a games like event, which is a real like crown on the calendar that, you know, when I was younger, that used to be the one thing you knew when E3 was on. There'd be hundreds of videos and news related things that you could go and watch and be interested in. You know, it was a real thing, and you know, there'd be live streams to watch and all sorts. And now for it just to be lost and gone, it just seems crazy. Now I realise the world is evolving all of the time with everything that's going on in it at the moment, and maybe it should move with the times. But yeah, it's a sad day. Tabs, what do you make of this?
Oh, it was interesting that Jeff Keighley came out of the bushes almost immediately after the announcement and basically confirmed that Summer Games Fest was confirmed for, I think it's June this year. So obviously, I think his ambitions are pretty clear. He's hoping to, you know, take that baton, isn't he, and make the digital version of a conference and sort of trade show for the games industry work. And certainly, you know, I think he's been building on that year on year. I think people have had disappointment with Jeff Keighley's offerings in the past, you know, the Game Awards and things like that. I don't think they've yet kind of reached the final form in terms of the Summer Game Fest and it having the impact that traditional E3s did. They really need to try and get some of these first parties involved, don't they? Get Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft really committed to that conference. Absolutely. But it's whether they want that. I think they're happy, aren't they, to just not have the pressure of being preparing for a conference like that and putting these digital events out in their own sweet time. But yeah, I mean, we've always said it, and again on the channel, we love the tradition of E3. We love that kind of that date in the diary that just you can pour all that anticipation and excitement for what you know is going to be, you know, a cacophony, a cluster of reveals that could be really exciting. And it's a chance to kind of get together in different ways, not just at the event, but, you know, as friends in your enthusiast groups and just celebrate the things you love. So I've always thought it's really good for that. And it's also great that these kind of corporations, companies that often don't have much of a face, you know, they can make appearances there. They can give us some of their personality and they can give us some insight into their worlds and, you know, what they think and feel. So, yeah, I'd love to see it maintained. But yeah, there's obviously a lot kicking off, isn't there, mate, in terms of...
The trouble with digital events, I mean, one of the things that we were super excited about when we were talking about actually going to E3 was the fact that traditionally at E3, at the actual conference, when it was a physical conference, you could get hands-on with stuff that you knew you weren't going to be able to play for like a year. So like you walk around the trade show and there'd be demos of games that you could pick up and play and experience that. And obviously it's from that kind of thing and people who went to the shows that then that would obviously trickle down to, people like us who were just, Joe Blogs off the street, so to speak. But that was the beauty about it. You had that like insight into games. And while I enjoy these digital events, you're not getting that real insight that you were getting with people actually playing games. And then obviously, digital events, everyone's celebrating it in their own house, so you don't get, we've seen clips from previous E3s where the crowds have just gone mental when something crazy's been, announced, and we're not going to see that anymore. So I don't know, does it take away from it? I don't know. Maybe if something replaces it, that's great, but yeah, it's some big shoes to fill in my opinion.
It's digital. It's the nature of the internet, isn't it, mate? It's flattened that roller coaster that we used to have in the past, that roller coaster of emotions, that fanfare. Like you said in the past with E3, usually you'd be waiting for like the magazines or perhaps even demos of some of the videos and footage from E3 that publications captured. And it's all just like delayed gratification because of that. At the time, it wasn't so easy to obtain information about stuff. Now we're absolutely spoiled with it. And we get drip fed consistently because of that, which I suppose is sort of cool. But at the same time, yeah, like you say, you just don't get those highs that we've often experienced in the past with crucial video game moments. But things change, so we'll have to try and just deal with it. And fingers crossed, obviously, so we'll come back in the future.
In a lot of ways, we're blessed in the games industry with the choice of consoles and amazing games to play, and there's a game to suit everybody. So we're blessed in a lot of ways. So in some respects, we shouldn't be too downbeat about the fact that we're losing, a big games conference potentially for good. But that personally, for me and Tabs, and I'm speaking for Tabs here, so if I'm wrong, jump in, Tabs. It's a very nostalgic thing for us. We love it. It brings back so many fond memories of both of our childhoods, or certainly growing up into our teens and early 20s. That to see it go, it's such a shame.
Yeah, a moment of silence for E3. And let's move on to story number 3 this week. The final one of the main, and it's also harking back to kind of some video game lineage and some nostalgia. So, new Tomb Raider, and IGN had this to say: Crystal Dynamics has announced a new Tomb Raider game and revealed that it will be built using Unreal Engine 5. Announcing the game during the State of Unreal 2022, Crystal Dynamics Tomb Raider franchise general manager Dallas Dickinson promised a high-quality cinematic action-adventure experience, but showed no gameplay or images and didn't reveal a release window or title. Dickinson said the team is looking to push the envelope of fidelity and is looking to create an experience fans deserve from Crystal Dynamics and Tomb Raider as a series. Crystal Dynamics becomes the latest major developer to move its next project to Unreal Engine 5. Other developers include The Coalition and CD Projekt Red, which has already announced that the new Witcher game will be developed using Unreal Engine 5. This will be the first new mainline Tomb Raider game since Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which was released in 2018. Crystal Dynamics is best known in recent years for rebooting the Tomb Raider series, showing us a fresh look at Lara Croft's origins in a grittier setting. In recent years, it has developed Marvel's Avengers and has been assisting Microsoft's Initiative Studio on a reboot of Perfect Dark. So, yeah, this was exciting. I love the Tomb Raiders of old. I suppose there's some concerns. I don't know about you, Rich, but this trend of everybody using Unreal Engine 5, it might be a great thing because we've seen what the engine can do. But I think as well, could it lead to a lot of games that don't have as a distinctive look and feel because they've all been produced out of the same graphics engine? I hope not, and I don't think that's necessarily founded, but that was an initial concern in my mind. Strange sort of reveal. They don't really have any footage or screenshots to show. It was just kind of leaks out of someone's mouth at a conference. But I think, for fans in the series, it's exciting, isn't it, to know that, given what we know of the Unreal Engine 5 demo, we're going to see a Tomb Raider game in that sort of, in those lights, with that sort of fidelity. And we know, that the more recent entries did certainly return to form, sort of feeling, I think, similar, Rich, to Uncharted from a lot of the reviews I was reading at the time. It's always been the later entries I've always wanted to give a go. I actually downloaded one on my PlayStation at one point, and I just never got around to playing it. But what did you make of it, mate?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, I really enjoyed the original Tomb Raiders on the PC, and I really enjoyed the first reboot of the series. That was such a great game, and like you say, it very much felt very Uncharted-like, which I guess is a really good thing because they were brilliant games. I'm excited by this. Definitely, it'd be cool to see, and obviously we know how good the Unreal 5 engine is. I think that the difficulty, and I get what you're saying about the fact that if everyone starts using the Unreal Engine, are they all going to look the same? The trouble is, the Unreal Engine's offering is immense. You sort of think, well, why wouldn't everybody use it? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So, it makes a lot of business sense as well. They can save on that kind of pre-production time because they don't have to make a bespoke games engine. They're just ready to go.
Absolutely. So I can sort of see why that's going to that. So that's good. But yeah, I do find it odd. Why would you not just say to you guys, we're going to tell everyone we're starting on this next Tomb Raider game. Can we just get some sort of screenshot? It doesn't even have to be in game. It can be an artist's impression just so we can show it. But that just seems stupid. You're announcing something, but you have literally nothing to show for it. That doesn't make any sense at all. So that just seems odd to me.
I get that sometimes you want to keep a low profile on things. It's almost the opposite to what we saw with Cyberpunk 2077, where you totally overblow expectations. But then he is saying in the same breath that expect that they're pushing the envelope on graphical fidelity. So they are bigging that up. It's a strange thing. I suppose the only other concern, and tell me what you think of this, mate, Crystal Dynamics, we've got it in this article. We know that they developed Marvel's Avengers, which, felt like a bit of a, here's my soul, I want all the money. They were selling their soul away on that one, it felt. And then, of course, they're taking on Perfect Dark in what's rumoured to be a bit of a reboot. Or at least assisting with that. So, I don't know if I'm 100% convinced. Recent track record. I mean, we know they can make pretty looking games. There's no doubt about that. But given they've got these two projects on their hands, one's been through development hell. Does that concern you at all?
I think it's got to be a concern, hasn't it? But you would like to think the sort of stumbling blocks they fell into in those games, then maybe they can't do that in Tomb Raider. It's very set what it is, although maybe they would just change it up and it becomes monetized and pay to win, and hopefully not. But I'm excited by this. They did a good job with the previous two sort of Tomb Raider reboots, so I'm hoping that they can do something similarly decent with what is an exceptional engine.
And with Uncharted, final word from me, with Uncharted being off the table for quite some time now, they've perhaps got that
niche,
that kind of to kind of steal back that audience again if they can offer something along those lines. So all to play for. But mate, kick us off with everything else this week, and we'll let the BArcadians get on with their weekends.
Absolutely. So first up, we've got Gran Turismo 7 update overhauls in-game economy. Finally, after criticism, I think they've made it easier to get stuff, maybe easier to make money. It's still pretty difficult, but they're definitely trying to tweak that to make it more accessible.
Good that we've seen a quick response there.
Absolutely.
Dune Spice Wars is launching in early access this month, which I'm sure Rich is interested
I'll
in.
be having a look at that. Next up, we've got PlayStation CEO still says Sony still has more studios acquisitions planned. I thought that was very interesting. I'm sure we'll have breaking news on that in the weeks to come.
FromSoft, Konami, Capcom, they're all. I wish they happen. Rockstar and Remedy team up to remake Max Payne 1 and 2.
Very exciting.
I missed the train on those, mate, so I'll be keeping an eye on those.
Played the first Max Payne and thought it was insanely difficult, so didn't play a lot of it, although I feel like maybe I wasn't quite into games then. But anyway. And finally this week, LEGO Star Wars the Skywalker Saga currently sits at an 83 on Metacritic.
Fantastic, mate. Well, thank you for your time. Thank you, BArcadians, for joining us. And of course, as I say, Friday, 5 p.m. UK time. We'll see you next week if you want to tune in then. I know you smashed the like button already, but consider subscribing to the channel, ring that bell for notifications to stay up to date with everything we put out there. And yes, Rich, I think that's another one for the archives, my friend.
Stamped and completed.